Well, a short time ago, I spoke to the Vicar of Greymouth's Holy Trinity Anglican Church, Marge Tefft, who earlier this evening held a service for the community. Marge Tefft, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tony.
Now, Greymouth is small. We know this very tight-knit community. Can you give us some idea of what the people are going through tonight, and particularly the relatives?
Well, you're right. It is a small and close-knit community, which means that everybody knows somebody linked with this catastrophe. And therefore, we're all feeling it in the guts. Obviously, the families are feeling it worse than I would say probably those that work at Pike River. They're just devastated as well. But there's a ripple effect. It's just affected everyone in our community. And the news today just really gutted us all. There was such a glimmer of hope this morning when the borehole had gone through and the robots were moving and the miner's lamp was found, and then to get the news this afternoon that there had been the second explosion and now no hope really has devastated us.
You conducted a service tonight yourself. First of all, that must have been very emotional, and I'm wondering what the mood was and what you said to the people at the service.
Yes, this was a prayer vigil. We had scheduled them for every night this week for a half hour, 7:30 to 8. The mood was one of deep sadness and grief, as you can imagine. And yet the people had gathered to cling to each other and to look to God for help. And so in that sense, there is hope. Not so much the hope that, the miners are coming out, but hope that we are going to get through this, that God's going to be with us to see us through, that even though this tragedy is going to mark this community forever, it is one that we are going to get through and hopefully be stronger for in the end.
Did it break the tension, or did it make things worse to be told by someone that there was no hope anymore?
What it did was it finally stopped the uncertainty. And so in that sense, I think the tension was broken. We now know the outcome. And for many, that's what they wanted. They wanted to know what had happened. And there is a sense of finality because of the second explosion. So in that regard, I guess you could say that the tension has been relieved because the uncertainty has been resolved. However, the grief is now much deeper because now there is not the hope that they will come out. And so the grief is very, very deep.
It's being described as the region's darkest hour in its entire history, and I'm wondering how hard it will be for people to go down those mines again sometime in the future.
Yes, I'm sure that will be incredibly difficult. We've heard stories this week of folk who had survived the Strongman mine disaster back in 1967, and it's, if my memory is right and what I've heard, the men who survived it had to go back down into the mine the next day. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, but that is something I believe I heard. And how hard it would have been for them to go in to retrieve the bodies of their colleagues. And just what's going to happen at the Pike River, of course, we do not know. That's for the Pike River management to inform you at an appropriate time.
We've seen anger, we've seen recriminations from some of the relatives and the friends of the victims that the rescuers did not go in very early on. Are you seeing that, and is there a sort of breaking of tension now and anger in the community?
Yeah, I did hear about that. At our service this evening, there was none of that. So I saw quite a different side, and that was the deep grief and the looking to God for help and support from one another. We did not see any of the anger expressed at the vigil tonight.
How important will it be for the relatives and the friends for the bodies to be brought up and to be laid to rest?
Well, obviously, it brings a better sense of closure if the bodies can be recovered and there can be funeral services. I do not know all that is going on for that right now. I can't comment on what the plans are, but certainly I think folk have a keener sense of closure if a body is able to be buried by the family. Yeah.
Marge, Tefft, we thank you very much for coming to join us on what's obviously a very difficult night for the community, but also for you. Thanks for being there.
So, thank you, Tony.